Okay, in this video, I'm gonna teach you more advanced way of modeling, and also I will talk about the nerve modeling. Nerve modeling is another word of the modeling, which is based on the nerves, not polygon, totally opposite of polygon. And you always start modeling with nerves, with starting with a curve. Basically, nerve modeling is based on the modeling with curves. You can go to the shelf and find the first panel, which is curves, surfaces, or you can go to create and you see it has the nerve primitives, and you can see it also has the different nerve primitives forms, which is like a sphere, cube, cylinder, like those that you can find it in polygon, but this is based on nerve. Or you can go to the curve tool under the create panel and choose one of the curve tools. There are different ways to create your curves, but two of the main important curve tools is the EP curve tool, or if I go to create curve tools, you can see the CV curve tool and EP curve tool. Those are two important curve tools, but there are definitely other ways to create your curve, and you can see them here. Also, yeah, there are some important tools that you can use while you're working in Nurbs with curves, which you can find the shortcut here under the curve surface shelf, or if you look for any specific tools for the curves, you can go to the surface in the modeling and see those, which we are going to talk about the loft, planar, and revolve, which and extrude, which are the most important tools to use the curves. Also, another thing is good to know. Um, Side view is a good view to work with curves and create curves. So basically, I press the space bar and I go to the side view, and then I can create my curves. Also, one other trick that I can tell you, like a short key, if you hold the X and click, it's gonna snap it to your grid, and it's gonna be much easier for you to create your, like in this case, without holding X, it just like randomly create the curve for me. But if I hold the X, it just like snap it to the grid. So as I mentioned, one of the tools that it is really handy in Nurbs is the revolve. You can see the short key here, or you can go under the surface, find the revolve. If I choose the EP curve tool and with the X, I click to the center of the grid and I start just like some curves, doesn't matter the form. Let's try it. And right now, if I go back to the selection tool, and if I go back to the perspective view, definitely you see that curve is created based on the side view in the 3D realm. And right now, if I simply click on the revolve, it revolve all around and creates that form for me, which is like really cool. So easily I created on something like a vase shape. So one thing that you need to remember, this form is right, this object is right now is a nerve model, not a polygon model, but you can convert it to the polygon model. It is important to understand the concept of the converting different formats to each other in Maya. because, for example, if you want to save a model as an OBJ, if you want to export it as an OBJ and like use it in another project, you need to convert it to the polygon. But you can still render this NURB object. If I go to my RenderMan viewport, basically, if I right now I made the RenderMan activated in my viewport, and if I go to RenderMan panel, which I told you in the other video how to download and install that plugin to Maya. So right now I have the RenderMan shelf, and if I open the preset menu while this object is selected, for example, just like assign this material to it, as you can see, even I can add a, so I created a dome, and if I go to the IPR to render it, here you can see it renders it for me, and I can just like save it in as a JPEG or PNG. The whole point is that one understands still rendered in it for me. It's similar to rendering the polygon. Let me turn off the RenderMan and get rid of that light. But also I want you to know how to convert a NURB to a polygon. What you need to do, you select your object, go to the modify, convert, and it has different options to convert one format to the other one. The first one is NURB to polygon. So if I select that one, it also has the options. Sometimes you need to make changes based on what you need, but I reset the tool right now and I apply it. So right now, as you can see my outliner, if I get rid of the curve and also if I get rid of the NURB revolve, here you can see that I have a poly model of what I created, and it's based on the polygon. You can see these faces. If I go back selecting the face, now I have multiple faces that they all made the polygon shape for me. One thing that you need to keep it in your mind, when you convert the NURB to the polygon, it happens many times that you lose some of the details of your model because you will creating straight edges that build as a component of the polygon. So that's the reason it is not made out of curves anymore. That's the reason you get different details. You basically lose part of the smoothness that you get in the NURBS. Another tool in the NURB modeling is Loft that you can have access here. This is the short key. If I'm, yeah, I'm right. And yeah, this is the short key for the loft, or as I mentioned, you can have access to the surface loft. Basically, loft creates a surface between two or more curves that you created. So if I go back to the side view and just like quickly create some random curves, and when you create a curve, press enter to close, basically end the curve, and I create another one. So I go back to the perspective mode. You can create more as well. I rotate the curve or move the curve. So right now between these two, while you have to, the order of clicking the curves is not that much important. You can just like drag and select both of them. But if you have more than two curves, this is not the way that you're selecting it. You have to just like do it based on the order or sequence. So right now I select this one and select the other one by holding shift, and I go and click on the loft. Basically it creates that shape or surface for me. So if I go to the control vertex or vertices, I have a lot of points that I can affect them to. So if I hold the tab, I can select like bunch of them, and you can see I can just like play around with this, doing different stuff with the curve. So for example, there are many techniques if you want to create a fabric. So you can use the Nurbs system and create a piece of cloth or fabric. So right now I can delete the curve and just have the loft. One thing that you need to know also, it's important at this point, it's about reverse faces. So whenever you get the black color from one side, I mean it is not possible to have both sides as a face. Basically one side Maya reads it as the inside of your object. In that case it's always black, and you need to make sure that your object is not inside out when you create it. Doesn't matter if it is in polygon or nerve. Sometimes it happens that the mesh or the model is inside out, and instead of seeing it in a gray color you see it in a black color. So what you need to do, basically you had to reverse the face and fix it. For example, in this case, I don't have any issue because I count this side as a surface or the face of my model. But imagine I wanted to have the other side as a face. What I can do, I can just like select the shape, and you go to the surface, you click on the reverse direction, you can see right now this is exactly the other side black and this side is gray. So whenever you don't do that right now, this is not the case that you want to reverse it because it was already fine. But if you get, for example, let me select this one, and oh, this is not a nerve, this is a polygon. Okay, let me create a curve. I revolve this one. So imagine instead of getting like this, you get something like this. Whenever you get this black color, you need to fix it and reverse the face. So in this case, since we are working with nerves, you need to go to the surface and reverse direction and it fix it for you, okay? But if you are working with the poly modeling, that's the different thing. So if you want to do it with polygons, if I go to the surface, reverse direction, you see it's not working because this is a polygon and this is not a nerve. If you want to reverse it for the polygon, you need to go to the mesh display, and it has the option set to face or reverse. So if I click on the reverse, right now you see it's black, which it shouldn't be like this. If you get a mesh, poly mesh like this, you select on it, go to the mesh display and reverse it. Last comment in Nurbs is the extrude. It means that you select a curve, um, and you extrude along a path with another curve. And so basically what you need to do, you need to have a curve, which I'm gonna create a curve like this, and I choose another one. I can just rotate it too. I just like created a circle, and I can move this one. So I'm gonna select this one as a shape and shift select the other one, and I choose the extrude. You can see it basically creates something like a pipe for me easily. So it is pretty straightforward. Just you need to keep it in your mind. To create an extrude, you need two curves, and consider one of them as a profile or shape, and the other one as a path. So it's up to you which one you choose as a profile and which one as a path. So I basically in that example, I consider the circle curve as a profile, and the other curve that I created, the spiral one, I considered as a path. So if I do the command Z and I consider this one, instead I select the first, this curve on the left first, and then shift select the other one, I do it in opposite way. So in this case, you see I got the different result. It's similar to a cake pan. So as you can see, this side considered as a face, and this side, the black one, considered as inside my object. So I can reverse the face and consider this area as the part that I want to render it as a surface. What I can do, I can go to the curve, reverse direction. Now this side is considered as a face. One thing that you need to know in curves, when you work with them, you can get rid of the curve, but if you get rid of the curve, basically you get rid of the controls. And right now you have the surface. You can keep it as nerve, or you can convert it to polygon. Uh, Anything that you do, I mean, like, it's up to you, but whatever you do, you can go to the edit and delete by type, and make sure to delete the history in order to not have extra attribute in Maya. In your curve, if you right click, you will get to the marking menu, and the marking menu is different from what you get when you are working in the polygon modeling. So right now you have the control vertices, curve point, object, mode, hull, or edit point. These are the options that I leave it for you to learn more about them and see how you can use them.